Don't bring the baby, it'll ruin the photos, my sister said. My dad chimed in, we want nice pictures this year. I stayed quiet. That night I took back every gift from under their tree. At 7:23 a.m. my sister messaged, they're screaming. Where are the presents? Last Christmas was supposed to be different. It was the first one since I got my promotion, the first one where I wasn't scraping by, counting pennies, feeling like the charity case of the family. They didn't know yet. I didn't tell anyone. Not because I wanted to make a dramatic reveal. More because I wanted to enjoy the holidays without the weight of expectation or fake affection. I had spent weeks carefully choosing gifts for every single person in my family. Not just basic gifts either, thoughtful, expensive, personal ones. My sister Kayla was obsessed with that stupid skincare brand from France, so I had it shipped directly from Paris. My brother and his wife were always complaining about their vacuum, so I got them a Dyson. For my parents, a weekend spa retreat in Aspen. Even the cousins I barely talked to, designer scarves, gaming headsets, gift cards to actual restaurants instead of Amazon. And all of it came from me. Just me. But the best part, the part one was most excited about, was dressing up my 6-month-old daughter Ava in this little velvet red dress with a white fur collar and tiny black boots. It was her first Christmas. She had no idea what was going on, but I did. I knew this would be the picture I'd keep forever. I even booked a professional photographer to come take family photos in front of the tree. I thought this year finally I'd feel like I belonged again. Like I wasn't the broke single mom showing up with homemade cookies while everyone else exchanged Apple products. I was excited. Nervous but excited. Then Kayla called. She didn't ask how we were. Didn't even say hi. Just, hey, don't bring the baby this year, okay? It's not personal, we just want the photos to look more cohesive. I said nothing. She kept going like she was reading off a list she'd practiced. You know how mom gets. She wants everything to match. Matching outfits, matching wrapping paper. A crying baby would kind of ruin the whole vibe. I still didn't say anything. Then Dad picked up on speaker. It's not a big deal, Stace. We just want nice pictures this year. Real family pictures. Real family. I hung up. Packed Ava's things anyway. I wasn't going to argue. I was done arguing with people who made it clear they saw my daughter as a problem and me as a burden. That night, after everyone had gone to sleep, I drove over to their house with Ava asleep in her car seat. I unlocked the front door with the spare key I still had, walked in quietly and stared at the tree. There were dozens of gifts under it. All mine. The wrapping was different for each person. I knew which was which. I started collecting them one by one. Ava kept sleeping. When the tree was empty, I turned off the porch lights from the switch in the hallway, got back in the car and drove away. At 7:23 a.m. I got the text from Kayla. They're screaming. Where are the presents? I didn't answer. I just looked over at Ava, still asleep, and whispered, Merry Christmas. They thought I disappeared. They had no idea I'd only just begun. By 8 a.m. I had 14 missed calls. By 8:30 the family group chat exploded. Kayla, what the hell is going on? Did you seriously take the presents? Dad, Stacy, grow up. This is ridiculous. You're ruining Christmas. This is exactly the kind of behavior that makes people not want to include you. I read them while pouring syrup over my pancakes. They didn't ask if Ava and I were okay. They didn't apologize. They didn't even hesitate before deciding I was the problem. Not them. Not the baby ban. Not the years of subtle digs and backhanded compliments and looking through me like I was the help. Just me. I scrolled for a moment, watched the messages pile up. Everyone had something to say. Uncle Ray. Someone explain what's happening? Cousin Taylor. Did she really steal all the gifts? Kayla again. She showed up last night. Must have taken them while everyone was asleep. Who even does that? It was wild how quickly they turned me into the villain. I was the one who spent weeks curating gifts, shipping things in from overseas, hand-wrapping each box with gold foil paper. Not because I needed their approval, but because I wanted this year to feel repaired. Like maybe things could be different. Like maybe I wouldn't be treated like an obligation. But then they told me not to bring Ava. That's what broke it. That one sentence. Not even a real conversation, just a casual request to leave my child at home because she might ruin their aesthetic. They talked about their photo setup like it was a damn magazine shoot. Ava wasn't even crying that day. She was teething, yeah, but she slept through the night. They didn't care. They didn't ask. That morning, I made hot chocolate, turned on the fake fireplace on the TV, and sat with Ava in my lap. I didn't answer any of them. Mom sent a private message. You're being cruel, Stacy. We didn't mean to upset you. Just bring the gifts back and let's move on. That made me laugh. Cruel is raising your voice at someone you pretend to love every holiday. Cruel is making your daughter feel like an outsider in her own family for 15 years. Cruel is acting like a baby is clutter. I didn't just take the gifts home. That would have been too easy. Instead, I packed them up and drove straight to the women's shelter on Maple Avenue. It was still dark when I got there. I rang the bell, introduced myself to the director. A kind woman named Darla who looked like she hadn't slept in 2 days, and told her I had something for the women and kids staying there. She thought I meant old clothes. Then she saw what was in the trunk. High-end skincare sets, designer scarves, brand new gadgets, toys still in the plastic wrap, even gourmet chocolates from Belgium I'd ordered just for Dad. I told her to hand them out however she wanted. The only thing I asked was that each tag stayed attached. Each one read, "You matter. You're not invisible. Merry Christmas, from someone who's been where you are." Darla hugged me. I got back in the car and cried for exactly 30 seconds. Not because I was sad, but because I'd never felt lighter. Back at home, Ava and I spent the morning in pajamas. We danced to Christmas music, watched cartoons, and took blurry selfies with syrup on our faces. The phone never stopped buzzing. Let them scream. Let them spin their stories. They still didn't know where the gifts went. And they definitely didn't know where I work now. That part, that's coming. The texts didn't stop for 2 more days. They went from shock to angry to suddenly sentimental. By the 26th, Mom had switched to guilt tactics. "We just wanted a peaceful Christmas, Stacy. You always make things complicated." Dad followed up with a passive-aggressive gem. "Yes, we know where your priorities are now." I ignored it all. I didn't post anything about Christmas. No photos, no captions. I let them stew in silence. But then Kayla made the mistake of trying to publicly shame me. On the 27th, she posted a photo of the empty Christmas tree on Instagram. Just the tree. No gifts. Her caption said, "Some people only give so they can take it back. Lesson learned. Family shouldn't come with strings." I saw it at lunch. I was sitting at a conference table in a glass-walled office on the 41st floor of a midtown building, eating sushi off porcelain while our junior designer pitched $1 million lobby renovation to a client. When it wrapped, I excused myself, walked back into my office, closed the door, and stared at Kayla's post again. That's when I decided it was time. I opened Instagram. My profile was still private. Most of the family didn't even follow me. They'd long ago written off anything I posted as depressing. So I made a new post. It was a photo of me and Ava both smiling. She was wearing the velvet red dress. I was wearing a blazer and heels, sitting in my office, skyline behind us. On the desk in front of me was a gift bag with my company's logo on it and a note. "Thank you for everything you've done this year. The partners." I didn't write a caption. Just tagged the firm's official account. Within 5 minutes, I had 3 missed calls from Kayla and 1 from Mom. They weren't dumb. A quick search told them everything. The firm was famous, known for redesigning luxury hotels and high-end spaces across the country. My name was listed right there on the leadership page. Stacy Morgan, lead creative director. My salary, public record, 6 figures, upper 6. I watched as Kayla deleted her post within the hour. Then a new message came in. "Kayla, you should have told us. That's amazing. We're so proud of you." Proud. The word made me physically cringe. I waited a few hours, then replied, "I didn't think you wanted anything ruining your aesthetic." Read. No reply. By New Year's Eve, the tone had shifted. Now they were all concerned. Mom wanted to talk things out. Dad suggested starting over fresh in 2026. Even Kayla invited us to brunch. Said Ava should really get to know her cousins. Sure. Now she's family. But none of them had asked what happened to the gifts. Not one. They were still pretending they just disappeared, like I'd stolen joy out of spite instead of giving it to people who'd actually appreciate it. That was fine. Let them play nice. They didn't know I was only getting started. The next shock didn't come from a phone call. It came from the front door. January 3rd, 9:46 a.m. I was feeding Ava oatmeal when someone buzzed my apartment. I wasn't expecting anyone, so I assumed it was a delivery. I was halfway to the door when I glanced at the camera feed on my phone and stopped cold. Kayla, holding a bag. She never visited. Not in the 6 months since Ava was born. Not once. I let the buzzer go. Didn't open the door. She stood there for 5 minutes, texted me twice. I brought something for Ava. Can we talk? And finally left the bag hanging on the doorknob. It was a brand new teddy bear from Bloomingdale's. Still had the price tag. Expensive, soft, probably picked up on the way over to make it seem like she cared. Inside the gift bag was also a card. It said, "Let's not let one misunderstanding ruin everything. We love you. Ava too. Let's talk soon. XO." No apology. No mention of what they said. No acknowledgement of why I'd left. Just misunderstanding. I put the bear in a donation bin. Then came the bigger twist. Later that week, I got an email from HR at my firm. They said someone had called claiming to be a family member trying to verify my employment for a congratulatory article. They said the caller asked for my salary, start date, and home address. That wasn't just nosy. That was calculated. They hadn't just stumbled across my job title. They were digging. And calling my job directly? I was furious, but I stayed calm. I emailed HR back and thanked them for flagging it. Told them to direct any future inquiries to my assistant, and that I'd be filing a privacy request immediately. I didn't need to guess who made the call. I knew exactly who would want proof I didn't just get lucky. Later that night, Mom sent a voice message. Not a call. A voice message. Started with, "Hey honey, just wanted to say we're really impressed. Your dad's been telling everyone at the country club about your promotion." I stopped listening after that. I didn't even finish it. What struck me most was how fast the shift happened. 1 minute, I was the burden they didn't want ruining their photo setup. The next, I was the golden child again, now that there was something in it for them. It wasn't about love. It was about status. And the worst part? They started competing for it. A week later, I got a call from a cousin I hadn't spoken to in 4 years, suddenly asking if we wanted to do a family girls trip this summer. I said no. Then Uncle Ray emailed me asking if I'd design his office lobby for exposure. I ignored it. Mom tried again. She said she was planning a family dinner and really wanted Ava to come. She even said she'd bought matching outfits for the grandkids. I texted back one word. Oh. She called twice. I didn't pick up. So she sent a final message. "You'll regret cutting people out like this, Stacy. Family is everything." I didn't answer. But I did book a flight. Ava and I were going to Italy for the spring. I'd been planning it for months, but now I moved it up. Work was letting me do remote design work for our Rome project, and Ava had her first passport. They wanted to play tug of war with my success? Let them try. I wasn't staying in their game. I was leaving the table. Italy was supposed to be a work trip. 3 weeks. Quiet. Focused. It turned into something else entirely. Ava and I arrived in Rome mid-March, jet-lagged but buzzing. Our apartment was a sunlit 2-bedroom on the 5th floor, with a balcony that overlooked terracotta rooftops and an espresso bar downstairs that remembered my order by day 3. I worked in the mornings, took meetings in the afternoons, and spent my evenings with Ava, walking cobblestone streets or sitting by the fountains with gelato in hand. He loved it. She was laughing more than I'd ever seen. What I didn't expect was how easily we both settled in. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't adjusting my pace for anyone else. No fake smiles, no emotional landmines, no constant worry about saying the wrong thing. Then something unexpected happened. A woman named Sophia, the project coordinator on the Rome team, became fast friends with me. We started having dinners after work, and on one of those nights she asked if I'd ever considered relocating. I laughed at first, said Ava's whole life was back home. School, doctors, everything. Then Sophia mentioned something I hadn't considered. The firm had just opened a permanent design hub in Milan. They were scouting for someone to lead it. It wasn't on the website yet. Quiet discussions only. But the partners trusted me. Sophia said, "If you want it, I'll put your name forward tomorrow." That night, I lay awake for hours, staring at the ceiling fan spinning above me, Ava asleep beside me. I kept thinking about how fast everything had changed. About how different I felt, being so far from the people who always made me feel like I had to earn my place at the table. The next morning I said yes. 2 days later, I signed a 2-year relocation contract. And then I did something petty. Just once. I posted a photo. Not of me. Not of Ava. Just the view from our balcony in Rome, cappuccino in frame, captioned, "Sometimes the table you were trying to be invited to doesn't deserve you. So you build your own." Kayla saw it. So did Mom. The next day I got a text from Dad. "Are you moving? We heard something from your aunt. Please tell me it's not true." I didn't answer. Then Kayla called. I let it ring, just watched the name flash on the screen while Ava sat in my lap playing with a toy gondola someone gave her. Later that night I posted one last thing. A short video. Ava in a white dress, clapping along with street musicians outside a cathedral. The caption said, "She'll grow up knowing peace, not performance. We're done pretending." No filter. No location tag. But they got the message. I heard later from a cousin that Mom cried. That Kayla had tried to explain the misunderstanding to anyone who would listen. That Dad was asking around about flights to Italy, but none of it mattered. The game was over. I hadn't just walked away. I'd moved the board. We moved into our apartment in Milan the second week of April. The space was modern, full of light, with a little balcony garden Ava loved to sit in. The office was 10 minutes away, the staff already welcoming, and my assistant spoke 3 languages fluently and somehow always remembered how I liked my coffee. I was finally living the life I had imagined on all those long nights when I was still in that cramped 1-bedroom, praying Ava wouldn't wake up crying while I worked freelance gigs until 2 a.m. And the best part? Silence. Not literal silence. Ava was learning to talk and had a habit of shouting, "Ciao," at strangers on the street. But silence from them. No texts. No emails. No guilt-laced voice messages. It was like they'd finally gotten it. At first I expected some final dramatic attempt to win me back. A flight, a surprise visit, maybe a letter. But it never came. They stopped trying. And for the first time in my life, I felt what it was like to not be chased by obligation. Just freedom. It wasn't that I hated them. I didn't. I just didn't need them anymore. And they didn't know how to love someone they couldn't control or shame into staying small. The emails about birthdays and reunions went unanswered. The family photos they posted on social media were suddenly very curated, very filtered, and very missing Ava and me. I watched from afar. Calm. Detached. Unbothered. Sometimes I wondered if Ava would ask about them when she was older. Maybe she would. Maybe she wouldn't. If she did, I'd tell her the truth, that not all families are safe places. That sometimes people only love you when you're easy to love. And that when they show you who they are, you're allowed to believe them and walk away. She wouldn't grow up chasing scraps. She'd grow up watching me build a life where we were loved fully, or not at all. 2 months after the move, I stood on a rooftop garden during an event we hosted for clients. The sky was golden, wine glasses clinked. Ava was being passed gently from designer to designer like she was a celebrity, and someone asked me casually how I got to this point. I just smiled and said, "It started with a Christmas tree." They laughed. I did too. But in my head I finished the sentence. Started with a Christmas tree, and ended with me finally choosing myself. And I never looked back. Ava just turned 2. We had a picnic in the park near the Duomo with a few friends from work and our neighbors, who've become like extended family. She got a little red scooter, gelato all over her face, and fell asleep curled up in my lap while the sun set over the city. There were no drama texts. No backhanded compliments. No guilt. Just joy. I got promoted again last month. Creative executive overseeing European projects now. My name's on contracts I used to dream of even reading. And sometimes when it's quiet and I'm walking home from work, I still catch myself wondering if all of this is real. It is. And they're still where I left them. Spiraling in their own echo chamber, still trying to decide whether to miss me or be mad at me. But that's not my story anymore. They took me for granted one too many times and I gave them every chance. I gave them everything. Until I stopped. Now Ava and I wake up to church bells instead of group chat alerts. We spend Sundays painting on the balcony and laughing too loud in restaurants. We're free. And we're finally home.